The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Yeah. NY born, NY built.
What is up, yo?
Vanilla
Happy
Gorilla,
Sunday,
Big Dog,
another Sunday
Untouchables.
with
Let's
your
go.
favorite
Step in the
hostess
ring like kings of
with
the block.
Moses.
Gorilla grip, Big Dog, never stop. Iron in the veins, no gimmicks, no props. This is hard work, black top and body slops. Ain't no flash, just fists and fake. We run through ropes like we run through
It
gates.
can't be. This is crazy.
This bond ain't fake. You hear that roar? That's
And
the
if
Empire
nobody at
Shake.
home knows who
We
this
the
guy is, this is the Big Dog. And he did get a tip from the Brooklyn Prodigies earlier on that they had travel issues, but not due to them being scared or anything like that. But oh my gosh, the Vanilla Gorilla and the Big Dog and the Untouchables just inserted themselves into this tag team.
Elbows harder than a steel trash can. One shot, knock 'em flat on sight. Two beasts bred for the spotlight fight. They can talk tough, bark loud all night, but in the ring, we bite and we bite right. We are untouchables, NY bred. Two fists swinging, leave legends dead. Joey bring the rage, Dave bring the brain. Together we storm like a runaway train. Untouchable, New York style. We on tap, we make 'em snap.
What is up? What is up, yo? It's Sunday Fun Day. I am the Big Dog. He is the Vanilla Gorilla, and we are the Untouchables, one of the best podcasts going all over the internet. Check us out on all streaming networks, YouTube, everything. Check us out.
Well, I guess I'm going to call this a turning point of the week, even though we have a couple this week. So everybody's been asking us, where did all your hosts go? Where did this go? Where did that go? Well, this turning point, I guess, so to say, is the start of
A new generation.
not a new era, but a new revisit to times of old, I guess, if you want to call it that. Right. So I guess with that being said, we want to welcome back our former co-host who's now back on the show. We want to welcome the OG back to the show. Your camera's
Oh, yeah. Let me fix it. Hold on.
do one of these little numbers. Just
It's supposed to auto rotate. And it's not.
no, that's called a manual rotate.
There we go. There's the fella right there. What's up, OG?
There we go. It's supposed to do that automatically. Like flip the screen.
So
Well,
guys, there you have
welcome
it.
back.
The OG is
What
back.
up?
Same old shit, man. Different day.
We are here with our, well, like I said, our return. That was an unexpected return, I will say. At least we didn't expect it this fast.
Well, you know,
But
you
if you're
can't
gonna make a
you
move,
can't have stogies without OG.
well, that is very true.
What I'm happy to be back.
Yes.
Things have worked out where I was able to rejoin y'all.
And you actually got to see the brand new intro that our
I
lovely
see that.
producer had created for us a couple months ago.
That's beautiful, man. That was awesome.
That is probably one of our favorite intros I think we've had on this show.
Very classy. Love it.
It fits the whole concept of
Oh,
the
yeah.
show. it ties everything back together.
Love it.
Obviously, I want to work on it and add a few different things here and there, but I've kind of left it the way it was because I didn't really want to mess with it too much.
I like
But
it.
I got
I
to
like it.
put some clips in the intro that I want in there. So
No, man. That's very, very classy, very professional looking. Nice job.
yes, H did a phenomenal and beautiful job as always. That was all his doing. I got a message and he told me, "Hey, I got you an intro, but I don't know if you're gonna like it." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I don't know if you'll like it. I don't want to send it to you." And I'm like, no. Send over the music. What do you have? And I sat here and I was smoking and I listened to it and I was just like,
Was it here? Was it the other house?
no, I think it was here.
No, that entrance was at the other house.
No, was it or was it here? I couldn't,
The other house.
because I have it too, but I have it from earlier than that he sent to me. Yeah, and then it just kind of I listened to it and I was like, yeah, I'm a fan of this.
Yeah, I love it.
I like this. I was like, you know what? I think this kind of encompasses everything that we're trying to do or we do. And only thing missing is some other clips. Like I said, I'm going to add to it. But for now, that's the way the intro is until.
Love it. Nah, don't change it, man. Don't change it. It looks great.
I'm not going to change the music. I got to add a couple of clips in here and there for it.
Okay.
Yes, they are. They are here in our waiting room waiting for us, and we are going to bring them up to that's Texas Cigar Society. They said Cayman has, what's up, fellas? Cayman's coming out with some amazing cigars. I have smoked the lines that they sent us, and I have 2 left, and
I'm smoking my last one.
they didn't disappoint.
They were actually great.
So let's on that note, let's bring our guest up.
Any questions you got, Dennis?
Whether any questions for anybody, whether it's wrestling related, cigar related, everybody ask away. We will answer them regardless.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
What is up? What is up, Scott?
How are we, Scott? How are we doing today?
Hey guys, good to be with you. We're doing great. Of course, almost every day is a great day here.
I see you in the islands this week.
How's my audio? Are we okay?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. Excellent.
You live in the island? You live in the island, Scott?
I'm sorry. Somebody asked me a question. It's a little bit faint.
Is your microphone on, Dad? Turn it on. Now ask your question. I bet you he hears you.
You live in the islands?
Oh yes, I can hear
There we
you.
go. That's better.
That's better.
No, actually, I at any given time I'm on probably a Delta flight.
Hey, there he is.
My wife and I live
Nippers.
my wife and I live up in Seattle, and
Oh wow.
I've got a home and an office in Tampa, Florida, which is where our United States cigar office and our humidor are. So we ship for the United States. We ship all of our cigars from Tampa throughout the U.S. So I'm back and forth a lot, and I'm down here on the island probably every 5 or 6 weeks or so.
That's nice. Very nice.
Very cool.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Anybody been to Grand Cayman before?
No. Nope.
No, but it's on the bucket list.
As it should be. As it
So-
should be. Not only because we have great cigars, in my slightly biased opinion, but it's actually a fantastic place to visit.
Your cigars are phenomenal.
Well, I am going to tell you.
They came highly recommended from our buddy Danny Nippers.
Oh yeah.
He was one that told us to try your smokes, and I was like, well, let me reach out to him and see what we can do. And you guys were nice enough to send us a beautiful sampler pack of each one. And honestly, I had to stop myself from smoking them to make sure I had them for the show, because I really was enjoying them.
Excellent. Well, I'm pleased to hear that.
They were delicious.
So tell us a little bit about.
So Texas Cigar Society said the doubloon is his favorite.
Tell us how you came up with the name Cayman, and what did you do before you got into the cigars?
Sure. I'll give you the condensed version. My family's been coming down to Cayman since our first visit in 1978. So that would have made me probably 15 or 16, I think, our first time. We grew up in Southern California. My dad had a very successful biotech company that he started in San Diego after he got laid off, actually, from a sales position. And he started off with a borrowed $10,000 from my grandmother, his mom, and a literal Rolodex of business cards, and went into business the following week. There it is. And
the Mariner.
Through his hard work over 40 some years, he grew the company into a global biotech firm, which specialized in creating liquid stable controls for diagnostic machines. So if you go to the doctor for a test on something, the doctor will run a test on the test to make sure that it's calibrated to a true zero. So nobody gets a false positive or false negative, that kind of thing. So we manufacture those calibrators that are used in the diagnostic industry to this day. And Mom and Dad fell in love with the island first time we came down there here. And but really things started with my dad and his Navy career. He went to a military institute in Wheeling, West Virginia through high school, and went right into the Navy after that. He was on a carrier group during the Vietnam War. He didn't see action, but it was more of a support group. He was a flight instructor and flew T-28s and trainer aircraft off of the USS Bennington back in the day. And looks like you got a number 2 there.
Yep,
awesome, my favorite. And so he would fly around the Caribbean all the time. He was based in Bermuda and Pensacola and Guantanamo. So he was quite versant in and around the Caribbean. And his job at the time was flying these massive P5M Marlins, these big flying boats that were sub hunters back in the day. And Dad's squadron was the very first squadron that spotted the Russian submarines off the coast of Cuba in October in 1962, which, as you know, triggered a little kerfuffle that carries on to this day, you might say.
It's a slight one.
Yeah. So the irony that my dad was almost the cause of the Cuban cigar embargo, and the fact that we're in the cigar industry now, is the irony is not lost.
That's crazy.
So when we came down here for the first time in '78, and just fell in love with it. Mom and Dad got a place down here where I'm sitting right now, and we've just enjoyed the island for decades. And what really happened with the cigar company and how we come to be here today is from about age 13 to 46, I was an absolute train wreck, alcoholic, and drug addict. And I basically blew everything up. I had every opportunity, everything. And I literally set fire to it. And when I got clean and sober 17 years ago, I needed to be hospitalized. And then I went into an inpatient treatment facility. And then I started a 12-step program. And when I came down here to the island for the first time sober, I got involved with the local Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous community down here, which is small, but really, really active. And I befriended a fellow who ran what they still call a halfway house. We'd call it a transitional house. It's a residence. It's a home for Caymanians who were getting out of inpatient treatment and starting the recovery process. So I got to know them a little bit, went to a lot of meetings out there and got to know the people. And I went back to my parents and said, hey, these guys are doing a lot of good work and they have almost no money. Can we help? And Mom and Dad said, absolutely. So we started slowly supporting that organization, which is called the Bridge Foundation. And they're still in business today. They've got 8 men at the campus right now. And Mom and Dad got more involved. I got more involved, and we were realizing that these Caymanians would come in and they would stay at the house for 6 months, and they'd get clean and sober. They'd go to meetings. They'd get a sponsor. They'd start doing all the things they need to do to get back into society, and then they would move back home. Unfortunately, where a lot of the problems were, and before you know it, they're back in jail. They're back into whatever, and everything blows, and they come back to the house to try it all again. And my dad, being an out-of-the-box thinker and growing up on a farm back in Indiana when he was small, my dad kind of came up with the idea of the fact that there needed to be another step in the process down here, because surprisingly, Cayman has a lot of resources, a lot of money, but surprisingly, there's few resources for people trying to get back on track in addiction recovery. So we realized that there needed to be another step. So Dad and I came up with a plan to create Beacon Farms, which is a nonprofit farm here on the island, which is staffed entirely by Caymanians who have graduated from the halfway house and now live and or work at the farm.
That's
we're
awesome.
We're growing a lot of staple crops like breadfruit, jackfruit, callaloo, spinach, eggplant, that sort of thing, to improve food security on the island. But we're also experimenting with tobacco. And we thought, my dad was thinking, we live practically under Cuba, so why wouldn't it grow well here? We didn't know, so we got some seeds and we planted it, and it started growing really well. So now we're still experimenting with tobacco here on the island at the farm. It's not good enough to be incorporated in our cigars, but our goal is to have, whenever it's as good as it can be, our goal is to have the world's first premium cigar made with Caymanian grown tobacco, and to put Grand Cayman on the map as the next microclimate or tobacco growing area in, 100 years.
And especially if you have the farm itself, you would be the main supplier of it as well.
Exactly.
Which also not only adds to your cigar sale business, but also your reputation as well, because now you'll have the only tobacco on that island.
100%. So now, we don't know if we'll get to a Puro or whether a binder grows better than wrapper or filler grows better than whatever. We don't know that yet. So we're experimenting. But how the cigar thing happened, to sort of tie a bow on everything, is we were planning experimental tobacco, and we went to the government and we said, hey, we'd like to grow tobacco and sell the leaf to other people to make cigars. We don't want to be in the cigar business. We just want to grow leaf and become a supplier. And we need a tobacco license. And so we applied, and then Dad did some research, and we realized that there's a lot more profit, to be honest, in the finished cigar than there is in the leaf. So we said, we're going to roll cigars at the farm, and we'll just sell them here on the island. And again, apply to the government for a tobacco license, and the government said, no, we're a nonprofit. And we said, yeah. And they said, you can't have one. And Dad doesn't take the word no very well. So he thought about that for about 16 seconds and said, fine, we're going to create Cayman Cigar Company. It's going to be privately owned by Dad and I, but our mission is to donate 100% of our profits to charity here on the island. So not 5%, not 10. It was designed to make good cigars, sell good cigars, pay the bills. Everything left over goes to charity here on the island. And we are incorporating that same model in our operations in the United States. So as soon as we're profitable, and we're not there yet, that same mission, and the company in the U.S. was designed to adopt that business model. As soon as all the bills are paid, everything else goes to charity. And given Dad's a military experience and some of the support that we've given veterans organizations in the United States, like Homes for Heroes, we've worked with the Gary Sinise Foundation. Awesome. We were able to fund for the first time at the community college where my dad got his first accounting degree before he went into business. We were able to fund a veterans resource center staffed by trauma-based counselors who would ease returning warriors back into the school and education world to help navigate some bumps that may be there during that process. So we were happy we were able to do that at the community college level down in our hometown of San Diego. So that's kind of how the company was formed and the ethos behind it.
So when you were saying your dad had found the the Cuban Missile Texas Cigar Society said, oh, so that's the reason I can't buy Cubans. And then Danny said, next time you're in Tampa, let him know he's just an hour up the road. Would love to visit.
Danny is so awesome. I can't wait to meet him in person. He's been a tireless supporter of Cayman Cigars and our mission.
He's
from the
always
get-go.
told us that you guys had great stuff, and Danny is like us. We kind of have the same taste and palate in cigars, and if he tells us something's good, we, for the most part, will go out of our way to try to find it. And then that's when I had messaged you guys, and I'm like, let's just see if they'll come on the show. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? Somebody says no.
Exactly. And it's such a great representative, I think, of the cigar community as a whole. Just finding that common denominator that we cut and light and enjoy. And everybody comes together because nothing else in the background matters. It doesn't matter how, what you have parked in the garage, what you make, what you do, how hot your wife is. It doesn't matter. It's all coming together around a common shared enjoyment. And that's what's exciting.
I've smoked cigars with people from professional athletes and millionaires to a janitor at a high school.
100%.
I was like, you smoke cigars with everybody and you don't know until you start talking to them. And by that point, you've already had the conversations and you're already friends.
Correct.
Exactly.
And Texas Cigar Society said, what kind of tobacco seeds did you plant?
We planted Criollo 98 to start off with. Just because it's a I don't want to say common, but it's a universally accepted kind of seed. And we didn't know what we were doing. And one other point to remember is that Grand Cayman here on the island, there's 3 islands. Grand Cayman is the largest. Then there's Little Cayman and Cayman Brac, 2 significantly smaller islands and more underdeveloped than Grand Cayman. And so it's never been a farming island. It's never been an agricultural island. Nobody grows anything here in quantity. They all depend on the ships to come in. And so when we got the idea for the farm, we knew that we wanted to grow experimental crops, but we wanted to grow the best experimental crops that we could. So our story, by the way, is detailed in a 1-hour documentary. It's called Beacon Farms, the movie. And it's available on YouTube.
Because Danny said, watch the farm video. It's amazing.
It's a few years ago before COVID, an amateur filmmaker named Candy Wicker. She lives on the island here with her husband. She came to us and said, hey, do you mind if I spend a day at the farm and kind of film what happens? What do you do here? And we said, sure, come on over. Well, that turned into thousands of hours of video. And on her own time and at her own expense, she created this 1-hour documentary that tells the story that I'm telling you today from start to finish, and how we started with the Bridge Foundation, which turned into Beacon Farms, which ultimately turned into Cayman Cigar Company. And that 1-hour film has won 5 international film awards, including a silver medal at the Hollywood International Film Festival. Candy was named Best Director at the Nice Film Festival in France. It was an official selection at the London International Film Festival, and it was an official selection from an organization called Documentaries Without Borders. So this little film, this little documentary tells our story amazingly, and it's free on YouTube. There's no paywall or anything. It's just Beacon Farms, the movie, and you can see it.
Wow. Scott, every time I have a question in my head, you start talking about the question. So I don't mean to be quiet, but you're answering my question before I can get them out there.
Don't mind OG. He's new here. This is his first time.
If he was new, I think it would be New G, but I see an OG there. So
it's old. It stands for old guy, not original gangster.
So tell me about the Sovereign 2. How is it? I'm not a big Connecticut guy, but
that is a very well done Connecticut.
Very well done.
Thank you. That was the first one that we made. When we were first starting out, Dad is a big believer, and part of our company success and Dad's success is the attitude that if you don't know what you're doing, find the best people you can in the industry and listen to them. Sounds like a pretty simple deal, But we were lucky enough to, through a mutual acquaintance, meet with a fellow named Fritz Bossert, who was head of a company called Lancaster Leaf in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is a subsidiary of the massive company Universal Leaf, which supplies tobacco leaf to, everybody around the world.
Right.
Massive company. And Fritz, we reached out to Fritz. He says, you know what? I love what you're doing. This is a great story. I want to meet you guys. Come on over. So we visited him. We sat in his office and told him what we wanted to do, told him what we didn't have. And he says, you know what? Let me help you. He goes, I've got a blend that I just asked my rollers to blend. It's only for me because I really love it. And here's a few samples. Why don't you call this your first one? And that became the Sovereign No. 2.
Wow. Wow.
Which is what I'm smoking right now.
Listen, you know what? That Sovereign No. 2 was amazing. I mean, I smoked it. Again, I smoke everything. I'm partially more towards the Maduro side, the fuller bodies, but when I find a nice Connecticut that's actually enjoyable and it has, bite to it and flavors, then, I don't mind smoking it. And that Connecticut was great. And then you have the Mariner, which is what I'm smoking.
Right.
Hold on. I have the other. Actually, I have all the bands in front of me. Where was it? Then you have the Monarch and then the Doubloon. How did you come up with those names?
Well, when we started the company, Grand Cayman and the Cayman Islands are considered a BOAT, a British Overseas Territory. Okay. And even though Grand Cayman here, we have our own government, we have our own currency, we have our own everything. It's an independent entity. But if anything were to go sideways, the UK cavalry would be coming. So it's not a dependent of the UK, but a partner, if you will. And so we wanted to come up with some cigar names that reflected the UK heritage and the history of Grand Cayman. And over the years, since Columbus discovered Grand Cayman in 1503, it's been going back and forth between governments through the spice trade. There really were pirates of the Caribbean because they were down here quite a bit, and through the pirate trade and the sailing trade and the spice routes and all of that. It's been from under British rule, under Spanish rule, back and forth. So we wanted to do something to commemorate the longstanding connection with the UK. So Sovereign became our first cigar. The Monarch became our second. And then the Doubloon is kind of a nod to the bad old pirate days.
I was gonna say that's more of like the pirate, like the pirates, doubloons, and like the treasure chests and stuff like that.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Now, kind of tell us about the blend for the Mariner.
The blend is, and I'm not. I'll say this for the record. I am not as well versed in the sciences of cigar blending, but the Mariner, we wanted something different. We had the No. 2, which was a nice base, universally accepted Connecticut, nice and creamy. Kind of, when we get people visiting our cigar store, it's like, hey, I want to bring my uncle back a cigar. I'm not sure what he likes, but it's Cayman. It's kind of cool. And so the No. 2 is our go-to cigar, for lack of a better word.
Smoking the Cutlass Limited this afternoon.
Yeah, that's another cool thing that we did with our friend Daniel Lance in Nicaragua. I'll tell you about that in a second.
Oh, that's a Domain.
Yeah.
I interviewed him actually.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he's a very knowledgeable guy.
Super guy.
And just amazing. Knows what he's talking about, like you guys. Knows his stuff and knows kind of like you. He said he set up his team around him that he knew would put him where he needed to be.
Correct.
Exactly. The Mariner is it just sort of happened. And the story behind that is we have 3 Cuban trained rollers here in Cayman, over in Bodentown, which is about the center of the island. I'm on the west side of the island. So Bodentown is about a 40-minute drive from where I am. And we started with Barbara and then found Maria. And now Maria's husband, Jorge, are all rolling for us here in Cayman, all from Cuba. All three of them have had no other job except in the tobacco industry. Maria and Jorge met at a tobacco factory. Barbara's sole earliest memory is being in the tobacco fields with her mom and dad. And so they come from generations of cigar rollers. And Maria one day said, I've been playing around with some different blends, and there's one I really like, and I'd like to roll some for you. And she did. And we passed it around to our smoking panel here down in Cayman. And also I took some back to the US, and everybody loved it. And so we called it the Mariner to honor Cayman's seafaring history, because Cayman was a shipbuilder here for a long time. We built a lot of schooners using Cayman mahogany for the bones of the ship, and then they would move over to Jamaica to get finished. But a lot of Caymanian schooners and turtle boats were manufactured here. So we came up with Mariner to honor Cayman's centuries of seafaring history, and Maria is credited with coming up with this blend.
Oh, very cool.
Interesting. I would think this is I would assume this is a Habano wrapper. I would think.
It is a Corojo Marron wrapper.
Okay. Did not know that. I would have went Habano. I wouldn't have went Corojo. That's interesting. I mean, listen, this cigar is another great one. I mean, the whole line is for a smaller company like yourself who was in just the islands and now is over in the US. They're delicious cigars. The burn is there. I haven't had any tight draws on the ones that I've had. They've been pretty effortless. They smoke really well. I noticed you have them in 3 different sizes as well.
Yes. We just rolled Robustos down here in Cayman for the longest time, just because we were getting our feet wet, so to speak. And then when we wanted to bring production up into the United States and establish the company in the United States, we knew that one size was never going to work. So we came up with these 3 different sizes: the Robusto, the Toro, and the Gordo. And we'll have some other ones coming up. We've got a super limited edition that we're going to be announcing at PCA this year.
That's the one you guys put on your Instagram the other day, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very intrigued by that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't personally, I worked with somebody that had a similar looking one, but I don't know if it ever came to fruition, if it ever went into production full time. I don't think so. So that shape kind of intrigued me because I had already not worked with, but kind of seen something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had seen you guys post it, I was like, I'm like, somebody's doing it and actually, pulling the trigger on it.
Yep. And that person is Daniel Lance.
Okay.
Yep. We looked into through our operations manager, Anthony Cantelmo. He's our operations guy, and then his colleague Rob.
That is very true.
Rob Villalobos. Rob is sort of our IT website guy, but he runs a few cigar lounges in the Phoenix area, and they've been friends with Danny for a long time. And they went to Daniel and said, hey, we're linked up with this company. They're going to be doing some great things. They're really interested in some real out of the box thinking, and they don't want to do anything like everyone else does. So, why don't we get together and talk? And so Daniel came on board. We had a lot of Zoom calls with Dad and I and Daniel. We got to know him over the course of time. And, he's just such a straight up stand up guy. We realized almost immediately that it could be the start of a beautiful friendship, to quote Casablanca. And that's exactly what's happened. And so Daniel, when we went to Daniel and said, we want to do something fun, we want to do something different, we want to be out of the box, we want to just, let's have some fun. And Daniel's like, I'm on it. And he came up with back and forth discussions. We came up with this cigar that's going to be previewed at PCA. There's only 200 boxes of 10 available in the United States, and it's called the Tortuga. And we named it Tortuga to celebrate Cayman's centuries of turtling. When the ships were coming around, going from one place to another, Cayman had two things back in the 15, 16, 17, 1800s. It had a freshwater lens, so ships could pull up and get fresh water, and they had literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of turtles. And turtle meat became the staple. You could load live turtles onto your ship, keep them on their backs until you needed them, and then they were butchered on the ship, and then the meat was either jerked or salted or dried or consumed there. So the turtle industry for Cayman was massive, and the turtle ships that were built here became a huge industry here. And Columbus in 1503 wrote in his diary that you could almost walk from his ship to the shore of Grand Cayman on the backs of turtles and not get wet. There were so many turtles in the water. So
wow.
Now the industry, unfortunately, due to overfishing and everything else, that industry is no longer here on the island. But we do have what we call the turtle farm here, which is basically a sustainable turtle organization here that breeds and releases live turtles here in Cayman to try to build up the population. So the Tortuga was named to honor that tradition of Caymanian industry.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
I like that. I'm looking forward to trying it. So listen, on that note, we are going to take a quick commercial break, give everybody a chance to grab another cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, and then come back and sit down and listen to your favorite podcast. Listen to us talk to Scott all about his cigars and his branding, because I saw something that I noticed and have a question on when we come back. So I'm going to hold that one for when we come back.
Excellent.
But on that note, guys, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll see you in about 5 minutes.
It ain't fair
back. We are back. It is us, Turnbuckles and Stogies Pod. I am the
We're
big
here.
dog. He is the vanilla gorilla. We have the OG is back, and we are here with Cayman CEO, Mr. Sean. How are you, buddy?
And I will say before we start again, guys, stay tuned because towards the end of the show, we have a coming soon announcement that a lot of people have been asking us for. I clued OG in yesterday. He's very excited for this one. So
Big news. Big news.
Let's just leave it with that. We will. The video is being worked on commercial breaks, but it's something we're very excited about. OG returning is something else we're very excited about. The three of us have kind of talked about this over the years, but we decided to pull the trigger obviously before OG returned. But that's not to say you might not see something from the three of us after that. So now let's go back to Scott and Cayman Cigars. Now I noticed, because I was scrolling through the Instagrams, and I noticed that you have a different band here for the US, it looks like, and then a different band for the Cayman side of things.
Correct.
What made you do that instead of keeping it kind of in unison? Is that so that the Cayman has the exclusivity to their brand and their version of the cigars, and then the US has their own as well?
That's exactly right. That is exactly what we did. The legacy cigars that we make here in Cayman, the ones we first started with our original banding, it was a little bit simpler back then. This is 4 years ago. So we wanted to keep it simple and give Cayman rolled cigars their own identity, because at the time our plan was to roll cigars here in Cayman and then import them into the United States for sale. But Cayman, as you might know, is one of the most expensive places in the world to live. It's one of the most expensive places in the world to do business. It's just expensive.
I mean, I've always, when I hear Cayman Islands, I always think of the rich people and their offshore Cayman bank accounts. That's what I always think.
Yeah.
Because that's over the years, obviously, whether it's movies or real life stuff, like that's always what you hear is they move all of their business to the Cayman because it's untouchable or whatever they call it.
Well, it's a tax haven. So there are no taxes here at all. There's no sales taxes.
Then I'm moving to Cayman Islands. See you guys later.
Nothing. The government makes a fair bit of money on things like yacht registrations and a lot. It's a financial hub. There's no getting around it. We have over 500 banks here, and they have privacy laws here. Not secrecy, nothing illegal, but they just choose to keep banking relationships private, and a lot of people find that attractive. So it did have a reputation, back in the day as, kind of a sunny place for shady accounting, if you will, but it's evolved a lot. It's just, it has a high cost of living, a high standard of living, and that's just the way it is. So by the time we get the cigars rolled in Cayman, and we pay our rollers far above minimum wage, plus pension, plus benefits, we want to take care of our people from the get-go. So including people that work at the farm, they earn a great wage, plus salary, plus insurance, benefits, all of that. And we wanted to provide a livelihood, not just a job. So by the time we get those expenses done in Grand Cayman, then import to the U.S., plus pay the duty, plus the taxes, and then get it ready for sale in the U.S., we realized there's just no way that we could make that happen economically, which is why for the first round of cigars that we have here, we went and partnered with Ostos Fernandez at Tabacalera La Isla in the Dominican Republic. And we sent him, that's our gift box for sale in the Cayman Islands with our original logo and original cigar bands with a lighter and a cutter.
I like that. I like that gift box, and I like the idea that you did the lighter and the cutter with it. Because even if, and I know you guys, this, but, I think what a lot of people lose sight of is just a lighter or a cutter. You know, whether somebody's smoking your cigar or not when they use it, it's still promoting your business.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
oh, where did you Cayman cigars? Where is that? Oh, you can get it on this website, or you can get this in the Cayman Islands, but you know, they may ship to you or they may have to have it sent here, however it works. I'm like, but that's that aspect of, yeah, well, this you can get there, but they have a US version of it.
Right.
It's not the same banding and logoing and everything else.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into my rather long-winded response to your question. We designed the banding and the boxing and the labels here in the United States to be different than Cayman for a reason. And once we decided to enter the US market, you know, my dad is of the opinion that if you're going to do something, you might as well do it big. And if you're thinking about something, you might as well be thinking big about something. So we knew what the heavy lift was going to be. And we knew that we wanted to keep our cigars in the United States uniquely Cayman, but distinctly different than the cigars, the packaging and the presentation that we have down here on the island. So our cigar band, for example, on the new cigar bands that you guys have right there, you'll see that the design itself, it borrows a little bit from Neptune, the god of the sea, with the trident. It also looks a little bit reptilian if you focus on it. And that's in honor of the original Cayman crocodile that is now extinct. It was called a Cayman, Caiman, and it was a small kind of alligator crocodile thing. And so we wanted to incorporate that into the logo. And then the 3 stars at the head of this trident represent the 3 Cayman Islands.
Okay. You know what, Danny? We're not friends anymore.
So Danny said, don't be mad.
Danny said, Joey, don't be mad. I have the Cayman legacy and the American line too. You know what? We're not friends anymore, Danny.
Danny, feel free to send some legacies over here, buddy.
So Scott, if I can ask, by the way, formally introduce myself. My name is Dennis. Everybody calls me OG. I was one of the founding fathers originally for Turnbuckles and Stogies with Joey and Dave. And I stepped away briefly and now I'm back. But I do have a question for you. Let me precurse that. First of all, I commend you and your companies for all the charitable work that you do, not only for the Caymans, but for the folks, you know, back in the United States in the military. And props to your pops for his service. Thank you very much. I tip my hat off to him and thank him very much for his service and sacrifice. Where do you see not only the company going in the next 5-10 years, but what about you as a person? Like, what are your goals or your aspirations over the next maybe 5 or 10 years?
Oh, wow. My goal is to gratefully and humbly accept the mantle of the company. You know, Dad founded it. He's still with us. He's 90 in Southern California. He and my mom are down in Southern California. They don't travel much.
Does he smoke cigars too?
Say again?
Does he smoke cigars too?
Oddly enough, no, never cared for them. But one thing that he does know how to do is build businesses and build companies very successfully. And I'm very proud to say that he has been an inspiration and a mentor about not only how to create and grow a company, but how to treat your employees and your customers. Because every one of our employees, when we sold our company, did very well by design. And we believe in a true entrepreneurial attitude. And I got that from Dad. He started, I don't know how many companies, almost all successful. He's had some flame outs and one spectacular failure. But you know what? He's like, okay, I learned, won't do that again. Onward and upward. That's his attitude. And he instilled that in me. Like, okay, it may work, it may not. What's the worst that can happen? So we entered the company and created the company with the design to grow it over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, as long as I'm alive. And it boils down to that basic business plan, which you could sketch on with a purple crayon on a cocktail napkin. Make good cigars, sell good cigars, donate all profits to charity, which to an accountant is a horrific business plan. But, you know, again, I've got resources because of my dad that it doesn't need to be a revenue generator for me personally.
Right.
I can grow the company into what our vision, Dad's vision was, which by design is to donate as much money as possible to charities. And so for the next 5 or 10 years, I want to grow the company, add incredibly talented people to it, and collectively grow, because again, the more cigars we sell, the more money we make, the more people we can help. And it's not, by the way, Dennis, to your point, not exclusively charitable focus on veterans groups. That's a big thing because of Dad's experience. But our other primary focus in charitable giving is inclusive education for kids. And that means that's an experience where kids with autism, Down syndrome, other developmental issues, they learn in preschool alongside typically developing kids. So no child is ever labeled or presented as different or other than. It's based on a concept in Seattle, of all places, where my nephew was able to join. He was diagnosed with autism 20 years ago, and we were able to get him into this inclusive learning environment, which from being diagnosed as nonverbal 18, 19 years ago, my nephew now speaks 2 languages and plays the French horn and is a sophomore at a mainstream college outside of Seattle. So we replicated that program down here in Cayman. And our hope with cigar revenue is that we can replicate that inclusive learning model to kids throughout the Caribbean, because a lot of islands don't have the resources that Caymanians do. I mean, there's a lot of money here. We can do a lot of things. But what about the family in Jamaica or Barbados or Cuba or Antigua that don't have those kind of resources? We want to replicate that inclusive learning model as far as we can. So that's just one opportunity.
I got goosebumps. You're giving me goosebumps. That's amazing. That's amazing. My 19-year-old has autism. He's highly functional though, super smart, but he's got a learning deficiency. So we had quite the struggle, as you can imagine. But that's amazing. And again, I tip my cap to you for the amazing work that you're doing, not only for cigars, but for the world, really, for everybody. Again, excellent.
Thank you. And again, the bigger we can grow the company, let me back up. The more appropriately we can scale up the company, then the more people we can help, which is what it all boils down to. You know, and one of the programs in my 12-step program basically says, you know, if you leave the world a better place when you leave it than when you came into it, you've done a good job as a human. I just want to amplify that because of the resources that I've been given.
So now let me ask you,
that's awesome.
Where can everybody purchase your cigars in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania? You know.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. Relatively recently, and I'm talking the last 6 months or so, when we got the cigars from the Dominican Republic, and they're in our humidor in Tampa right now, we realized that we didn't want to be an internet-only company. We wanted to have an incredible relationship with brick and mortar retailers, because they are the entrepreneurial brick and mortar small business American dream kind of thing that Dad was raised on and that I inherited. And so we wanted to make a point of supporting retailers across the country in whatever capacity we can. And given our resources and our way of thinking, we want to do things that nobody else does. I don't know what they are yet, but we want to be different than everyone else. And we have the resources to think outside the box and basically go to a retailer and say, how can we help you sell more cigars? Because everybody wins. You do your thing, we do our thing, and everybody's happy. So we were able to hire 2 absolutely fantastic sales guys, a fellow named Jared Bioka, who is north of LA on the West Coast. He's taking the West Coast of the United States. We found and hired him about 6 months ago. Awesome dude. And then a colleague of his from his previous position, a fellow named Sean Hardiman. He lives in Rhode Island. And Sean is now, as of a month ago, he's going to take the East Coast for us. And we're hoping to find a broker that could literally take the middle of the country, when we can be there, especially Texas and Oklahoma and the areas down south. So for now, Sean's got the East Coast, and he's literally, as we speak, traveling around, meeting with people, talking to his contacts. Jared's doing the same thing on the West Coast where he was born and raised. So sooner than later, we're hoping to develop as many as 200, 250 retailers by the end of the year. And again, more and more as we scale up appropriately. We're never going to.
Danny said
where we're going to jeopardize the retailer or be out of stock on something.
Right.
We're going to grow, but we're going to do it appropriately. We don't want to be the biggest in the world. We just want to be the best. And if it takes time to do that, so be it.
So Danny said, okay, Scott, after hearing all that, I would like to apply for a position and send you my resume. I want to be a part of what you're doing. It's amazing. And then after that, he said, I've been a salesman my entire life.
Awesome. Well, again, a company is only as good as its people. And Dad learned that from the get-go. After the way he was treated at his old company, he's like, you know what? I don't want to go back to that. I'm going to do something on my own, and I'm going to develop a company the way a company I think should be run. And he's done that in multiple companies. And we've had great employees. When we sold our company in 2015, we had a handful of people, I think 5 or 6 people, that's the only job they've ever had. And they were with us for 30 plus years.
Wow.
And what, they retired?
It's amazing.
Some retired. And another thing that Dad would never tell you, but he did obviously very well with the company. He didn't take a salary forever because he wanted to grow the company. He poured every available dollar into the company. He only took expenses as needed. But when he sold the company, out of the I think 200 plus employees we had in Southern California, we had a big lunch, and all the employees were there. Dad, Mom, me, my sisters, we all thanked everybody. And every single employee out of Mom and Dad's personal funds got $1,000 for every year they worked for us.
Wow. That's amazing.
That was the person who celebrated 32 years with us, down to the guy who started the week before.
That's amazing.
That's how you take care of people. That's Absolutely. Why we lost 100%. A total of 10 people in 35 years.
100%. That's awesome.
Absolutely, 100%. That's how you
crazy.
Good
That's
employee
awesome.
retention, and because you treat everybody as essentially a family member or a very good friend that you don't want to see go anywhere.
Exactly.
You do what you can to keep those people in those positions.
Absolutely. You do what a smart person will do. Will move mountains to keep good people.
Right.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And sometimes it works out, sometimes not. I get it. It's the real world, but we're lucky that we've been able to attract and keep top quality people, whether it's biotech and now cigars. And that's just it's an awesome thing that I have the privilege, Dennis, to finish your answer. I have the privilege and the honor and the gratitude to be the next generation of this company that my dad had the vision to found in order to help more people.
Just on that little key that you just shared with everybody, that little nugget, if all the companies in this world just gave that acknowledgement to their employees, you would have employees that stick around for 20, 30 years instead of quote unquote chasing the money or chasing the next better job. If these companies globally would just take care of their employees in a little way, make them feel appreciated in a little way, you'd have that longevity. You'd have that 20, 30, 40 years in the company. You just don't see nowadays.
Yeah,
you don't see
it's
that.
It's not a hard concept.
Right.
It's not.
And
you take care of your people. Everything else is details. Everything else falls into place. The money will happen. The growth will happen. But you can't do that without good people.
Right. And Danny makes a good point. First, you take care of your people, and the people will take care of the business.
Oh, 100%.
And that kind of goes to exactly what you guys were saying. He said that was the mission statement of the company I was at for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Was take care of your people, and the people will take care of business. And if you're bringing that from not only from your other side of business, but into the cigar industry, then you as a company will have a very long, stint in the industry because of the fact that you have that business mindset already.
So let me ask you this question, Scott. So
Yes, sir.
are you the only one in your family that smokes cigars?
Yes. Yep. And I didn't really about the only cigars that I ever smoked is when I was golfing, and usually at that time I say it was golfing, but it was basically drinking while dragging my golf clubs around.
I mean, isn't that usually what it's supposed to be?
Well, not in my case. Yeah, let's just say that there's certain golf courses in Southern California that would be really happy if I never showed up there again.
Yeah, but then when you spend the money, they're like, "Hey, welcome back. We hope to see you again. Come back.
Exactly.
We'd like to have you. Stay at the bar here."
Now, being that you brought up golf courses, have you decided to put cigars in golf courses yet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, to the extent that we can. Again, we're just now getting some runway underneath us with Jared and with Sean,
right.
And we're hoping to develop with Jared and Sean's help to be in certain golf courses. I don't know how many or where or
right.
any of that, but the opportunity is out there, and we've got fantastic talent in Jared and Sean. So when the time is right, it'll happen. We're not going to rush it. If it's meant to be, it'll happen when it's supposed to. And I'm the only one that smokes cigars. My go-to was a Macanudo Portofino because I didn't know anything, and that was just like, oh, this looks good. I'll try it. Smoked a few on the golf course, and then a few more, and that was it. But in Seattle, it's raining about 10 months out of the year, and I don't want to stand outside and smoke. So usually, I smoke more when I'm down here and in Tampa.
So now, how did you meet Anthony?
Anthony was a consultant with a company that we were working with back in the day not back in the day, I guess it's only been about 3 years ago or so. And Anthony, we recognized, was just an amazing guy, had a lot of knowledge, and we asked him to step on board as a consultant. And he was able to over a period of time, and separated himself from his prior engagements and came to us as a consulting operations officer, and he's based in Phoenix, and he's doing a great job for us. He's overseeing the blending process with Daniel down in Nicaragua, and couldn't be happier.
And now is that who makes your cigars as well as Daniel?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
I mean, I've smoked his cigars as well, so you guys are in great hands, obviously, between the two of you, and with you guys and him kind of combining, and you knowing what you know and him knowing what he knows, you guys have that kind of perfect partnership.
Exactly. And it was Anthony's suggestion, really, that we sort of improve our portfolio, because our Dominican cigars are wonderful, as you know, but Anthony came to us and said, there's a part of the market that we're not looking at. And I've known Daniel for a long time. He's a straight up guy. I told him about what we're doing. He's really interested in getting to know us a little bit. And maybe there could be some synergy there. And sure enough, over the course of some Zoom meetings, we got to know Daniel and really were impressed with him. And he says, hey, I love what you're doing. I'd love to be a part of it. How can we work together? Which was music to our ears. And we said, well, why don't we do a collaboration? And and we did, and it's called the Doubloon. And the next collaboration is called the Tortuga, which is going to be out next month. And
so
then
you guys
we've got a few more. We got a few more,
and then it became part of your core line.
Bingo, exactly right.
So let me ask you: everybody has setbacks in life and hardships, and I'm not asking about particulars. What I'm asking is, how did you and your company overcome obstacles and setback? Like, what mentality did you use to get past that hurdle to propel yourself forward? I mean, that's practical, like some practical life advice, really, for anybody in any situation. How did you and your company overcome obstacles and adversity?
That's a great question. And it goes back, I firmly believe, to my dad's early education. He was lucky enough. He lived in Wheeling, West Virginia, of all places, kind of the birthplace of the Conestoga cigar, which became Stogie back in the day. So there were a few cigar factories in Wheeling, but Dad was able to go to a military institute called Lindsley, and it was a male only military institute where he completed sixth grade through graduation, and that instilled in him the ethos that he carries to this day. And the motto of the school is forward and no retreat. And he embraced that. He's living proof of that. And then he's learned from his setbacks and his failures. I've certainly learned from my personal and professional setbacks and failures that, as long as you're on this side of the earth, it's a good day. And yeah, it may suck and it may be awful, but you know what? You suck it up, put the Band-Aid on your knee, dust yourself up, and move on. And that's what Dad's done. Even in the face of failure, losing millions of dollars in companies that hadn't worked through various different things, he's like, oh, okay, well, that was a mistake, or I won't do that again. Or more importantly, he's like, I learned what not to do next time. And that's what governs us.
Right. No, listen, you guys have a very good thing going. That's for sure.
Thank you.
That's for sure, because I've noticed and in doing this podcast and, dealing with primarily the boutique world, which is what we specialize in, because we have a lot of friends like you guys and Ish from BAMF and Grouchy Monkey and Broncano Cigars and the name of people, the list of people goes on and on that we've kind of essentially become boutique cigar guys over doing the podcast over these years. Now we've had, bigger names on like United and some guys from Drew Estate and I forget. We've had quite a few. We've had Matt Booth, Jonas from Blackbird. Like we've had a lot of people in here and on here, and we've come to realize, and we love our big brands, our higher end boutiques like, Blackbird and people who are starting to make their name become bigger brands. But to find guys like you guys who are doing these kind of cigars and making these relationships so fast of just getting established in the US, you don't see that very often. And to be putting out good cigars here and good cigars down in the Caymans, that you have two different essentially blends of these cigars. Am I correct? There's the Cayman blend is one, and then you have a US blend that's different.
Actually, not quite. And here's the difference. When we partnered up with Ostos at Tabacalera La Isla in the Dominican Republic, we sent Ostos our Cayman rolled cigars.
Okay.
And we told them what the tobacco blends were, everything, and we said basically, can you do this in the Dominican Republic? So he smoked through our entire Kamanian line and came back and said, oh yeah, I can do this. And he did. He rolled some samples of each of our cigars. We sent them back. Anthony, Rob, and our tasting panel, and both in the United States and in Cayman, including the rollers that made the Cayman cigars, smoked them and said, "Oh yeah, this is almost identical."
Okay.
So they are the same blends. They're just rolled in different places.
I apologize. I lost audio for a second there. I'm back now.
That's what I was wondering when I had seen that, because I even noticed the names are a little different for the cigars as well.
Correct.
Now, is that because of obviously, you guys being in the Caymans with those blends, are those more like homegrown names, I guess you would say?
No, the Cayman blends are the same names as the U.S. blends. The number 2, the Monarch, the Mariner, and of course the doubloon is from Nicaragua.
Right.
We may, if Daniel's amenable to it, we may get a sample of the tobacco used in the doubloon, and we might roll some down here in Cayman, just for fun.
Right. No, that's actually pretty cool. I like that, and I like the fact that you were able to do such a wide scale, as I call it, company, because you were able to have like you said, the Cayman Island side of things, and then now you have the U.S. market as well.
Exactly. And
that's a big thing, because to be able to do it in two different places like that, at such a rapid rate
So
is amazing. And how long have you guys actually been around as a company?
we formed the company here in Cayman in 2019.
Okay.
And then we lost a year with COVID, like everything. The entire island was shut down.
Right.
So we're we had some making up to do. But yes, we're expanding at a rapid rate. But we've also remained flexible with our third target. We've got Grand Cayman, we've got the United States, and our next market that we're looking at is the UK. To take advantage of the fact that Cayman is a British overseas territory. And we're making some preliminary exploration into the London market and the UK market, and that's going to take a year or two or maybe more. And
I know I've heard over there getting into those markets is very tough because of all of the licensing and everything you have to get for it.
It's manageable. We can do it. The biggest issue there is that everything in London is predominantly Cuban,
right?
And non-Cubans have a little bit more of a challenge to get established. But again, we don't want to be everywhere in London. We just want to be at those retailers that are in alignment with our mission and our charitable attitude and like our cigars. So that won't be everywhere, and it may take a while. And even if it were in one or two places, that's okay.
Because you made it into that market.
Exactly. And who knows? London could be a springboard to other places, Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, Monte Carlo.
If you guys find somebody out there to do your distributing, the next thing, for over there of the big event, like the PCA is the Intertobac.
Yes. Yes.
Which is something I would, if that's the market you guys want, like you said, you want to go into that market. If you guys can get over there and be able to do that show, I know that helps a lot of companies get into that market over there because it gets you in front of all of the retailers and some of the consumers as well.
Correct.
Absolutely. I went there 2 years ago. I went just to see what it was like.
Right.
And it was pretty awesome. And then given world events, I don't know if we're going to be attending the World Tobacco Conference in Dubai. It's slated for November, but a lot can happen between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't make it this year, I think I might go next year just to get the lay of the land, because we've heard from some contacts that we have through the Cayman Islands. People also have homes and businesses in UAE and Dubai. Dubai may be a good market for us, but
I know Dubai is
wait and see.
I've heard Dubai is a great market for over there, as they call them, the New World cigars.
Exactly.
I've heard Dubai is a great market for that. Over there it's like a luxury thing.
Exactly.
Guys, like over here for us smoking cigars, you can be an everyday guy and still afford them, so to say.
Exactly.
Where over there, it's a completely different story.
Exactly. And it's a little bit like what little I've learned about the Asian market as well. The Asian culture and Middle Eastern culture, especially cultures with resources, they love everything Western.
Yes.
And everything that is rightly or wrongly associated with wealth and status.
100%.
Premium cigars, super premium cigars, your hand blended whiskeys. I've been out of the drinking game for a long time, but the Buffalo Traces and the
micro blends.
Yeah, all of those
that are
things
released in limited quantities for 6 months and then they're gone.
Bingo. And it's all about in some cases it's all about bragging rights of what you have in your collection to show other people in those cultures. And of course that's certainly coming with a product that we have, the quality that we have, coming from a place like this that already has sort of the, like you mentioned, that sort of ingrained status as a pretty significant.
And then you can even do your limited edition exclusively for, if it's in Dubai, you do the Dubai market exclusive, and then you come up with a whole different blend that you can't get anywhere else.
100%.
And then that puts you, like you said, on that super premium limited. Can't
Yes.
find them, can't get them once they're gone. They're gone,
Yes.
or you have to know somebody.
Yes.
Or, you know, the only people that might smoke them are guys like us who are on a podcast to, you know, for you to say, hey, here's our, you know, Dubai market exclusive. Let's go on and talk about it. And you guys are going to be one of the few select in the U.S. that have smoked them as far as podcasting goes.
Correct.
You know,
Exactly.
and that's where, like you said, stuff like this, stuff like, you know, cigar reviewers, a lot of that comes in handy because now you're building the suspense of it where everybody's going to try to find someone they know in that area, or if they're in that area, they're going to go pick them up and then bring them back here or bring them to where they are and say, hey, I got, you know, the Cayman cigar Dubai exclusive.
Exactly.
And you guys can't get it.
Exactly.
And that puts you in that, like you said, that wealth, super premium, you know, can't find them, can't get them. If you're lucky to smoke them, that's great. If not, then that sucks to be you.
Absolutely.
And then you may even do a one-off and release them in the Caymans in the States one time, and then they're done.
Of course. Absolutely. Again, you know, nothing is off the table as far as we're concerned. And in terms of the Middle Eastern market, one thing I've learned is, you know, it's not my dad's Middle East anymore. The new generation of royal families within UAE, Saudi Arabia, other places, you know, these rulers now are in their 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. They were educated in the United States, and so it's just not the same culture that it was in my dad's day, in terms of, you know, opportunities for women, opportunities for business, opportunities for entrepreneurship. And so this younger generation of Western educated royals they've had a taste, if you will, of Western wealth and status, and
a lot of time they do try to bring that to those countries.
100%.
Try to change some of the stigma of what it used to be.
Exactly. And if we can do that through cigars,
you still have your countries that are still stuck in those ways, and that'll probably always be stuck in that way. But again, that's their culture, and we don't judge their culture. They do what they want to do. We're just here to smoke cigars and have fun.
Exactly. And who knows what could be done over a conversation and a cigar in Dubai one of these days.
Exactly. You never know. So besides the Tortuga, is there anything else we can expect from you guys this year?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the Tortuga being our limited edition, we've also incorporated a brand new cigar into our portfolio. It's also made in Nicaragua. It's a box pressed cigar called the Broadside, and it's Nicaraguan tobacco with a broad wrapper.
Wow!
It's gonna be like a Maduro.
Exactly. It's done by Daniel Lance, and
try that one.
It's I've got samples coming. Actually, I haven't even tried it yet. I've got samples coming as we speak. I leave for Tampa tomorrow, and I think there should be some with me. I'll get some samples to you. We named it the Broadside for a couple reasons. A, it's broadleaf, so it's easy to remember. It's a box press, which is sort of broad on all sides.
It does sound delicious, Danny. You're right.
But the term broadside is actually a sailing term back in the pirate days, when you brought your ship broadside to your enemy to maximize your cannons for maximum firepower for whoever you were targeting. Right. So the broadside is going to be available at PCA for the first time.
I was just going to say, are you guys going to release that and the Tortuga at PCA?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Okay,
yep.
So
fantastic.
So Scott, we'd like to thank you for coming on.
And real quick before we do that, what is the price point on your cigars?
Yes.
And where can everybody follow you guys? And do you guys have a minimum if shops want to order from you?
Let's see. We don't have any minimums. And Scott at Cayman Cigars or info@caymancigars.com is the easiest way to get a hold of us. And again, Jared and Sean are supporting our retailers, and any retailer out there can reach out to info@caymancigars.com and be connected with Sean or Jared, myself. You know, we'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Price points vary, but as I recall, and I haven't been to a lot of our retailers in the United States because I've been down here and back and forth, but I want to say that we are in the 13 to 17 retail,
which really isn't
That's
bad.
not bad. That's a good price.
That's
It's
about,
sort of
depending
the
on where
sweet
you go,
spot,
that's
if you
about
will.
average now.
Yeah.
That's about average. So you guys aren't overextending you're not one of those people who are, oh yeah, they're great, and you're paying, $25, $30 for them.
No.
Yeah, because we've seen that. We've seen that where they're like, oh yeah, they're great cigars. What's the price point? Oh, 25, 26. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then you smoke them, and it's like they're not up to that price point.
Exactly.
And it's like now you're just kind of being greedy.
Yeah.
Where you guys, like you said, with your business model and everything you guys do, you're also not overpricing. Obviously you guys could charge that $13 to $17 range is like perfect. Even if you hit maybe that 20, you would still be right in the ballpark because the cigars are fantastic.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to do. And we didn't want to do, the one thing that we didn't want to do is have that attitude that it's some rich guy's folly. It's some rich guy's project. I sold my company for $1 gazillion and I've always wanted to have a cigar company. So this sounds like fun. We didn't want to do that. We engineered and created the company specifically for a purpose, to get more cigars in more people's mouths so we can help more people. And we wanted a price point that reflected that. We didn't want to price ourselves literally out of the market, especially since we're a brand new company. No one's ever heard of us. Nobody associates Cayman Islands with cigars. Well, until now. But so we wanted to make our pricing attractive so we could support more retailers, which is what it boils down to. It's all about the brick and mortar guys that are working their guts out every day to get good cigars into good people's hands.
Scott, we appreciate you taking the time from your family to come out and hang out with us. And we appreciate
come back again.
And we'd love to have you back on, when you release your new stuff and, talk about that and promote those and, maybe even get Daniel on with you and set it up to where even if we have to record the interview and we can kind of talk about, between both of you, how that happened and, what made you decide on these blends.
Of course. Love to.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be bold here, and I'm going to say at some point in time, it wouldn't be beyond reason that Turnbuckles and Stogies comes down to the Caymans and hangs out with you there and get to experience everything that is your cigar company in the Cayman Islands.
Absolutely. We're easy to get to. You can get flights from literally anywhere. It's clean. It's safe. It's beautiful. It's we can go take a tour of the farm, stop at the cigar store.
We get to get the Cayman Island exclusive versions and get a gift box. We'll get to buy a gift box lighter.
Well, I'm all about market research. So you jump on that, you get on a plane and get down here, and we'll take care of you. I promise you that.
Perfect.
All right, Scott.
Perfect. We'll make it happen.
Gentlemen, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for your time today. It was such an honor and a privilege to speak with you all today. Thank you so much.
Keep in touch. Keep in touch.
Thank you again. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right.
You as well. Take care.
Bye. Wow, guys, that was a great interview. What a great guy.
And
what a great guy.
When they sent us the cigars, we were both kind of like, whoa, because they didn't just send, when they sent the cigars out, they didn't send one cigar. They sent each of us 3 of each of their blends.
Wow.
So they sent us 3 doubloons, 3 sovereigns, 3 mariners, and 3 of the monarchs. Dude, and I had to stop myself from smoking them.
I'm done.
Well, hey, it's good business. It's good business to do that. Like if you're promoting your product, it's hard to promote something you don't know anything about.
No, it truly is. And when I had heard of them through Danny, I was like, oh, yeah, let me hit him up. Let's see. And, when I sent them the message, they were like, yeah, we're absolutely open to do it. Send us your address. How many people? I was like, well, there's 2 of us. And I was like, okay. And then, dude, I got the box and I opened it and I was like, all right.
Whoa.
I was like, they sent 3, okay. And then I'm pulling out the bags. I'm like, oh, they sent, 3 of each one. Okay, whatever. We'll divide them. And then I kept pulling. And I was like, oh, they basically sent a box because they had 4 blends. They sent 3 of each. I said, so that's 12 for him and 12 for me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
He goes, what'd they send? I'm like, here, poof. And I plopped the 4 bags on his chest. He was like, whoa. So
that's awesome.
I mean, listen, dude,
So now we got 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
To make our
So,
announcement.
all right. So this is an announcement that has been a long time coming. We've talked about it privately. Even when OG was a part of the show, even after he was a part of the show, before he came back, the 3 of us have had these conversations of not even so much doing it with the podcast, just doing it, the 3 of us together. And this was an idea we've run and thrown across a wall and everything else. And basically, I had came across somebody, just to give a quick little backstory.
3 minutes left.
Yeah. Well, just a quick little backstory. I came across somebody. They were saying, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I'm like, we can't right now, whatever. Long story short, he put an offer on the table the other day. I couldn't refuse it. It was too good of an offer not to say yes to. And, it's a quick little video because I don't have certain things in hands. And you'll see what I mean by the video. But I just put this video together real quick on our commercial break for you guys. So I'm going to play this clip. And you're just going to have to watch it. There's no music. I apologize. As you guys can see, there's some logos. What's that?
Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
Big news. Stay tuned.
There will be some stuff coming soon. If you can't put context clues together from that, I can't help you.
And on that note, you have to pre-order.
Well, yes, you're going to pre-order.
Details soon. Details soon.
Details will be coming soon after I do my phases and it's finalized and I have everything that I can show you. But from what you've just gathered, you should know what that is by now. So on that note,
I got goosebumps again.
On that note, guys, it's been fun. Stay tuned. Check out next week where we have Harem Solomon Cigars.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness, one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.